Hey guys, what's up? I have something that I was inspired to share today since we are nearing the end of the month and it's the first month of the year. And that is to share with you guys that I used to be a smoker and I used to smoke cigarettes and I quit. And that is a New Year's resolution that a lot of people, try to jump on board with and are not able to continue it or don't continue it. So I would like to share my story about how I did it, and maybe hopefully this will be beneficial for somebody out there who's watching. So I have a very busy lifestyle, and I smoked cigarettes for about 15 years. I didn't smoke a lot of cigarettes, but maybe on average about 3 cigarettes a day for about 15 years though. So that really adds up. And but I've always been very health conscious too. It didn't really make sense for me to be a smoker. I didn't like the way it smelled, I was always trying to hide it, and I was always self-conscious about the way that I smelled whenever I was around other people. So it was just something that I did because I had a very busy life, and I felt like whenever I took a break, I could go out for a cigarette and still be doing something to keep me busy, which I realized at that time I thought I was being productive, but absolutely smoking cigarettes are not productive. It's counterproductive. So now I realized I was just being busy. So quitting the cigarettes, ultimately helped me become a healthier individual overall. And really, I was still running and working out all the time, but I definitely improved a lot of things in my life, including my fitness, whenever I did kick it. But this is what I did. What really inspired me to quit was I met someone who at a party with my parents who had and is having complications with their health, still has had major complications with his health since he was smoking. And he had quit, and he still has the health issues later on down the road. And I recognized that I didn't want to live that life. So I said, okay, new friend, I'm going to dub you my accountability partner. So anytime that I felt like, from that point forward, said I'm going to quit, and anytime that I feel like smoking, I'm going to text you and let you know I feel like smoking, but I'm not going to. And kept doing that until I finally just quit for several months and didn't even have the urge to, text him anymore to tell him that I was having an urge to smoke. So having an accountability partner was extremely helpful. And this person was somebody who I didn't have a relationship with previously, but you could have an account. If you wanted to quit smoking, you could get a friend or a family member to be your accountability partner. Somebody that you could just trust, who you could reach out to, and that you wouldn't be bothering them, and that they would encourage you along your way. The other thing is that for me, just quitting cold turkey without having something else replace it was very difficult. So what I did, instead of just stopping the smoking habit, was that I replaced smoking with another healthier habit. So, for example, I would wake up in the morning and want to go have a cigarette. Instead of doing that, I created a healthy routine for myself to do ab exercises. So instead of smoking, I would do 10 or 15 minutes of planks or ab exercises. Before I would go to work is another time when I would want to smoke. And so whenever I was transitioning out of that habit, I would then go make a list or a plan for myself on what to do that day so I could be more productive instead of doing something counterproductive like smoking. Another time when I would smoke cigarettes is whenever I got really stressed out at work. So you get really, high energy, you get pumped up, and you have to step away. And instead of taking that 10 to 15 minute break smoking, I would go for a walk instead. So instead of just standing there and inhaling carcinogenic stuff into my lungs, I actually went out and did something productive. Even though I was just walking, I was still doing my body way more good than standing there smoking. Another example is after meals. So whenever I would eat lunch or dinner, that would just prompt me to want to go smoke a cigarette. But instead of doing that, I got in the habit of eating a fruit. And that actually nipped 2 birds with 1 stone, because I have a sweet tooth too. So instead of having dessert and then going to have a cigarette, I would just replace both of those habits with eating a fruit. And now I still do that today, and it works for me, and it's very healthy, and I love it. So probably the most difficult thing of all that I had to stop doing smoking was smoking socially, which was always the thing that got me into smoking again. If I was like, okay, I'm gonna have one right now, it's no big deal, and then I'd find myself the next day buying a pack of cigarettes. And so I'd have to text or call my accountability partner and say, hey man, I messed up, we got to start all over again because I had a cigarette last night. But what I would do, instead of, whenever I still am social today, you always go in places where smokers hang out, right? Well, what made it easier for me was that if I was having a conversation inside and all the smokers migrate outside, I would just stay inside. Even if I didn't know the people who I was in there with, I would just go in there and introduce myself and view it as an opportunity to get to know other people who are at the social event. So I found that really worked very well for me. So all in all, having an accountability partner and replacing the bad smoking habits with good, healthy habits is really what helped me stay on track. Some other things that I really benefited from, though, was saying no to cigarettes gave me the ability to say no to other things that I was doing just to keep myself busy, like hanging out with people who have negative attitudes or just kind of bring me down. I knew that, I was just hanging out with them to hang out with them, or going to visit places that I didn't really want to go visit just because I'm following the crowd. Once I kind of got on board with saying no to cigarettes, I'm like, well, since I've been able to introduce these other really good positive habits, when I cut those out, I could probably introduce some other positive things into my life by not going to do this other stuff that I don't really care for, that isn't really serving me too. And that's really the way that it worked out and panned out. So when I quit cigarettes, that opened a door for other good, positive energy, positive people, and new interests in my life to come into my life. So today, I'm able to spend that money that I was spending on cigarettes on stuff that benefits me a lot more, like stuff that I'm interested in, like camping and going to the beach and hanging out with my boo. So I feel really good about the changes that I made, and I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor, if you will, by stopping that bad habit. But the one thing that I found really hard at first, because if you're a smoker, you try to quit smoking and you fall off the wagon, and then you have to try to do it again. But instead of trying to quit again, you think to yourself, nah, I'm just gonna keep smoking because I keep falling off the wagon. Well, if you can just get into your mind that you have to fail forward to succeed, meaning failure is only the beginning of the process. Everybody who tries to do something fails at some point. And a lot of times, and most of the time, you know, all of the people who are really successful, you know, they don't just succeed every time they try something new. They have to fail over and over and over again. So quitting something, whether it's quitting cigarettes or whether you're starting a new healthy habit, like getting into the routine of exercising, you know, it's not about perfection. It's really about doing something consistently and being true to yourself, doing what you feel like is the best representation of you. And that's really what helped me quit smoking and also introduce a lot of other positive things into my life. So I hope there's somebody that is watching this who will be able to benefit from this. So be sure to thumbs it up if you thought that it was useful or helpful, because I definitely feel like a lot of the principles that are used in this video about quitting cigarettes can also be applied to eliminating other toxic things in our lives and introducing new, better, positive things that will serve us in a much better way and make us better people because of it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time here on Bold and Beyond. Bye!